team. You stink. Your defense is horrid. You've been horrid. And as a result of that, you're 1-2 on the season. The fact of the matter is the Dallas Cowboys can't stop a cold when it comes to doing things defensively. They can't stop the run.
This defense isn't built that way. They built to play from ahead. You're not going to play from ahead once teams figure out that they can do this to you. You know who figured it out? The Arizona Cardinals figured it out. The San Francisco 49ers figured it out. And we saw Buffalo figure it out. That's Dallas' issue on the road, is that they can't stop the run and the games are controlled.
The teams that have beaten the Dallas Cowboys have decided that the line of scrimmage was going to be where they were going to win, and Micah Parsons was not going to wreck the football game. And the way you do that is by doing what Marcus said, continuing to consistently call run plays. And
before we dive into the individual players and position groups, let's set the stage for why the conversation matters. The Cowboys must solve two major problems on defense: consistently stopping a run and generating a pass rush without relying on blitzes. Both were exposed in critical points, and without improvements in the trenches, it's hard to envision this team reaching its ceiling. That's why the defensive line and the changes made to it may be the most important storyline for Dallas in 2025. Before we break down the players, we need to talk about the man now leading the unit, Aaron Whitecotton.
Improve. You can always improve, but we can't bend on playing hard. And it's a consistent conversation from the first week in training camp until the week of the Super Bowl. Run to the ball, run to the ball, run to the ball. And I'm not talking about just like, pretend like you're running to the ball, like sprint to the ball every time till your lungs are on fire. Go back and do it again. We're attack front. So what you've seen from us in San Fran and with the Jets, we're attack front. And I want those guys to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage and get after people and play hard. We want to play hard, great effort, great violence, great pass. We need explosive athletes. We need guys that are change the line of scrimmage, and they're great versus the run, and they also affect the passer. So those are the biggest things that we look for in those, just these explosive athletes that play on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
The defensive line coach for the Dallas Cowboys, coming over from the New York Jets, Whitecotton brings a reputation for discipline, fundamentals, and relentless effort. His identity as a coach is built around high energy, rotation-heavy philosophy. For him, success isn't just measured by sacks, it's measured by how hard and how often his guys can attack. Whitecotton wants his defensive line to play fast, stay fresh, and be able to adjust to any game plan. He's known to demand effort so intense that constant substitution isn't just allowed, it's expected. His ideal group includes versatile players who can play across multiple alignments and still deliver impact. The aggressive identity is a welcome contrast to defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus's base defensive philosophy, which leans on a non-aggressive four-man rush and discipline. That contrast sets the stage for a new look Cowboys front, one that could marry physicality with structure. With Whitecotton's aggressive philosophy fresh in mind, let's turn our attention to the edges on the outside defenders, where pressure and power and versatility is the name of the game. Now that we cover Whitecotton's philosophy, let's start with the edge defenders. Cowboys' first line of attack when it comes to pressuring the quarterback and setting the edge and run defense. Let's start with the pass rushing threats, the guys who hunt. Micah Parsons. While not a full-time defensive end, we can't talk about edge pressures without mentioning Micah Parsons, the unquestioned star of this unit and one of the league's most disruptive defenders. Parsons' versatility allows him to line up on the outside linebacker, edge rusher, or even in interior gaps, creating mismatches across the line. His elite get-off, violent hands, and relentless effort make him a nightmare for opposing tackles. While his deployment may vary week to week, Eberflus's game plan, you can expect Parsons to be a centerpiece for any pressure package. With better support around him and more defined rotational help in 2025, could be the year he elevates his pass rushing efficiency to a new level, not just by volume, but by impact in critical moments. Dante Fowler Jr. Fowler has become one of the most overlooked and undervalued pass rushers in the league. In 2024, he racked up 10 sacks as a rotational piece, proving he still has the juice off the edge. Despite his production, He failed to land a long-term deal this offseason once again, giving him a chip on his shoulder leading into 2025. Fowler brings burst, bend, and veteran savvy, and with Whitecotton's aggressive rotation philosophy, he could continue to thrive in a role that maximizes his pass rushing skill set without wearing him down. Donovan Ezeiruaku, one of the most underappreciated picks of this year's draft. Ezeiruaku enters Dallas with a mature skill set far beyond his years. Known for his polished hand usage and consistent pad level, he plays with a pass rush plan every snap, something uncommon in rookies. Ezeiruaku also brings value against the run, showing that he can anchor and set the edge with surprising physicality. His football IQ and coachability make him a strong fit in Aaron Whitecotton's demanding scheme. If he has a strong camp, don't be surprised if he leapfrogs some of the veterans on the depth chart and earns meaningful rotational snaps early in the season. It is also critical that this pass rushing group can prove to win without Micah Parsons. While Parsons is a most dynamic weapon, this year you can see him moving back to a more of a rushing linebacker role and transitioning into the position as a linebacker. This means that the pressure must come from other areas, and other guys within the pass rushing unit must step up. While pass rush gets the headlines, every defense needs guys who can hold up against the run and set hard edges and control their gaps. For the Cowboys, these players are essential to balance out the explosive athletes up front and ensure they don't get gashed in zone runs or perimeter plays. Kneeland, this guy plays angry, and that's exactly why the Cowboys drafted him. Kneeland brings a tone-setting presence to the edge with his rugged frame, powerful hands, and violent strike at the point of attack. He excels in controlling blockers, squeezing down running lanes, and forcing plays back inside. Though he's not a premier pass rush threat, his strength and motor can collapse the edge and flush the quarterback off their spots. In a system like Whitecotton, which demands physicality and effort from snap to whistle, Kneeland is tailor-made to play early downs and wear down opponents. Expect him to be a first and second down staple by mid-season, especially against the run-heavy offenses. Sam Williams, the tools are all there: size, speed, explosiveness, everything you want in a modern edge rusher. But Sam Williams' biggest hurdle in 2025 is discipline. His tendency to lose contain, over pursue, or bite on misdirection has cost the defense critical moments. Still, there's no denying his upside. When he times up the snap and bends the corner clean, he looks like a future star. With the arrival of Aaron Whitecotton, who emphasizes fundamentals and positional accountability, Williams has a golden opportunity to refine his approach and become more of a consistent force. If he puts it together mentally, he has true breakout potential and could take a major leap in both production and reliability. Peyton Turner, health is his biggest question mark, and it has been his entire NFL career. When he's on the field, Turner showcases violent hands, impressive length, and strength to set the hard edges against the run. He's the type of player who thrives in trench warfare and can eat up space on early downs. Unfortunately, inconsistent availability has kept him from earning a larger role. Under Whitecotton's high-effort rotation model, Turner won't be asked to carry the load, which could help him over the course of the season. If he stays available and sharpens his conditioning, he could become a valuable chess piece in an evolving front. Tyrus Wheat, a lunch pail guy with a good lower body strength and leverage. Wheat is the kind of edge defender coaches love to keep in their back pocket. He's not flashy, but he's incredibly dependable, holding up well against the run, playing with sound technique, and staying within his assignment. Wheat's ceiling isn't high as others on the depth chart, but he has a knack for showing up in tough physical matchups. On special teams, he's already made an impact, and his physicality could make him a matchup-specific role against teams that live in 12 personnel and heavy sets. He's a glue guy, and every rotation needs one. It's crucial that this group of edge defenders consistently win their one-on-one matchups. The Cowboys' run defense, particularly on the edges, was a major liability in 2024. If these players can hold the line and force offenses into second and long and third and obvious passing situation, it sets up the defense's greatest strength, the pass rush. That's when Dallas becomes dangerous. After evaluating the edge group, we now shift inside to the trenches. The interior defensive line is where the Cowboys' defensive identity could be cemented. A unit that must hold up against the run and provide interior rush in passing situations. Let's move inside now and break down the Cowboys' interior defensive line. a position that's seen investment, flashes of potential, and some real question marks. Under Aaron Whitecotton's demanding high-effort system, this is a group that can take a major step forward if the right pieces hit. Mazi Smith. 2025 might be the year the former first rounder puts it all together. Mazi has all the physical traits, size, anchor, but it's been slow development curve at the NFL level. His rookie year showed flashes, but also revealed issues with pad level, balance, and leverage. The good news, reports suggest noticeable improvements in his get-off and overall conditioning. With Whitecotton now leading the group, Mazi is now coached with more intensity and focus on hand placement and leverage. Unlike younger DTs still learning the pro game, Mazi is entering the back end of the typical developmental curve. This should be peak Mazi. His effort play style fits Whitecotton's scheme perfectly. If he can hold the point of attack on early downs and collapse the pocket occasionally, he'll be a foundational piece for the defense. Toia, the rookie from UCLA, is an intriguing piece. A high motor defensive tackle with raw power and bulldog mentality. At 6'3", 325 pounds, Toia brings stoutness to the line, but his technique reads refinement. He wins with natural leverage and aggressive punch off the snap, but his hand consistency and balance through contact still requires coaching. What makes him a great fit in Whitecotton's scheme is his effort. He doesn't quit on plays, and he often chases beyond the line of scrimmage. Like many young defensive tackles, Toia likely will experience a steep learning curve. DT is one of the slowest development positions in football. Expect him in small spurts as a rotational piece rather than an immediate impact player. Justin Rogers, a big body depth option with raw traits. Rogers is your prototypical developmental nose tackle. He possesses excellent natural strength and wide frame that makes it difficult to move in run games, but he struggles with leverage and lateral quickness. At this stage, Rogers is best suited for short yardage and goal line reps where he can fire low and occupy multiple blockers. As with Toia, it's important to remember that DTs take time, often years, to fully adjust to NFL speed and technique. Expect Rogers to develop slowly and contribute in limited spurts while refining his game. It is worth remembering that the nose tackle group arguably carries the most important role in its entire defense, even this entire team. If they can truly occupy the middle and clog the inside and truly press the pocket in pass down situations, this can unlock another element to the defense and even another element to this team. They are very vital to the success of the Cowboys this year. But just as important is the need for a consistent and productive secondary nose tackle who can reduce the wear on Mazi Smith and bring leadership to a group full of young, raw talent. A veteran presence who can step in and absorb snaps and help coach up rookies like Toia and Justin Rogers could pay massive dividends both in short term as in the unit develops in the long roster. He's quick off the ball and wins with his first step, often slipping through gaps before linemen can square up. His compact build and explosiveness make him ideal fit for sub packages, pass rushing situations. In 2025, Osa is expected to take on a larger leadership role in the room, particularly as a most experienced and consistent 3-tech in the group. If he can continue to polish his hand counters and improve his play recognition, he could emerge as one of the NFC's top interior disruptors. He'll be relied on to lead an interior pass rush unit, and not just statistically, but as the voice that keeps the young guys aligned. A savvy veteran pickup, Thomas has played in multiple schemes and offers versatility. While he's not the athlete he once was, his experience and understanding of leverage and angles make him a solid rotational anchor, especially on second and long. Whitecotton coached him in New York, which gave him a leg up schematically. Ernest Brown, an under-the-radar guy who showed flashes last season. He's stout enough to hold up against the run and has enough quickness to threaten guards occasionally. However, Brown is still early in his development curve and needs to improve his pad level and technique to hold his own in Whitecotton's high effort system. If he can stack practices and improve his pass rush consistency, he might carve out a role as a rotational 3-tech/4-eye later on in the season. Tommy Akimbasote, long, rangy, and raw. Tommy has tools, but his game is still moving fast for him. He's the classic developmental Trish player with upside but limited readiness. In reality, he's at least a year away from contributing. Of his value in 2025 will come from training camp and preseason. If the Cowboys can stash him and develop his technique, he could become a rotational piece in 2026. Denzel Daxon. This is your wild card. Daxon has made a name for himself in preseason with violent hands and non-stop motor. Coaches have praised his effort and willingness to absorb coaching. Like the other young players in his group, Daxon still needs refinement in gap integrity and hand usage, but he brings energy, physicality to every snap. If he shows consistency through camp and preseason, Daxon could push for active game day snaps by mid-season, particularly in pass rush sub-packages. It is also important to note that the 3 technique is the central of Eberflus's scheme. This group must not only provide secondary pass rush, but also maintain gap integrity, flexibility to defend wide zone concepts, and backside pursuit. Their explosiveness and versatility are key to tying in together the front 4 with the back 7. So while there's depth in youth and even a few hidden gems, this interior group still has room to grow. If Mazi takes the next step and Osa continues to flash, it will be a great start. But don't be surprised if Dallas looks to bring in one more veteran defensive tackle, especially someone with true gap plugging ability to round out the rotation. When you step back and look at the big picture, this 2025 Cowboys defensive line is no longer just a Micah Parsons show. It's a collective front of coaching, energy, and versatility. If the run defenders do their job and force teams to predictable pass situations, and the pass rushers, both young and veteran, rotate at full speed under Whitecotton's vision, the unit can become the foundation of a playoff caliber defense. And maybe most importantly, they can give this team a true identity in the trenches, something that has been missing far too long in Dallas. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this group? Make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Until next time.